Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Kol Haloyim, Adonai Yahweh, Bahashim Shah Malak Yahushai, Bahashim Kakadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders, great millstone, peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, Haba Yahshua Malak Dabadah, the house of King David, and to the confusion of faces that look like these heathen nations, but their identity goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the Lord your holy chosen sea line. Shalom. And this lesson is going to be about the breakdown of the black horse in Revelation 6 and 5. And let me start at verse 5, as I was saying. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Okay, now I'm gonna go into the Blue Letter Bible now. This is talking about the I'm gonna go to the breakdown of the scriptures in the Blue Letter Bible, because they have a lot of etymology over here. The KJVA Bible doesn't really have that much etymology breakdown there. Like, I don't know, but this one has, like, a display of all these etymologies of these, these words. So I'm gonna give a breakdown of this to make it easier for you guys to understand what it's talking about. Okay. Let me see. So the pair balances, that's zygos. And then when you go into the word zygos, it means a yoke that is put on draught cattle, as a metaphor used of any burden or bondage as that of slavery, of troublesome laws imposed. So basically, it was pretty much a time where, going back to what the scripture was saying, that black horse that had a balances in his hand is pretty much representing the time where our people was put into captivity. So yeah, so this is talking about when, Jacob, um which is the descendants of, um basically blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Latinos, that how we went into slavery. And according to, let me get the scripture out, Deuteronomy 24, no, 28 and 47, Salakia. How it says, Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst, and in nakedness, and a want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. So yeah, so pretty much that black horse is, kind of going to, pretty much a decent amount of topics. Not only Jacob's, not only when Jacob is pretty much put in slavery, it's also kind of going tying into Jacob's trouble as well. And let me see, let me bring it up. So let me go into the other etymologies. Wait, select it. Let me see. All right. And it says in the 6th verse, And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Now let me go into this. So a measure of Let me see. The wheat for a penny. All right. So basically, let me go into this into the to the penny. So the penny back then is not really talking about the penny how it is now, because now the penny is worth like we have a penny that's like made out of copper and zinc, so it's not really valuable. You know what I mean? The penny back then in the Roman times was talking about the silver coin, the denarius coin, containing 10. It says, and let me see. It says right here, because the suffix de, that's pretty much containing 10 in that within that suffix. That's why they call it denarius coin. And a Roman silver coin in New Testament time, it took this name from it being equal to 10 asses, a number after 217 BC increased to 16. It was the principal silver coin of the Roman Empire. From the parable of the laborers in the vineyard, it would seem that a denarius was the ordinary pay for a day's wages, according to Matthew 20, um, chapter 20 to 2, verse 13. And what you call it? So pretty much a penny back then, which was a denarius coin, it seemed like it would pay off every worker's wages back then that worked in the vineyard. So now check this out. In a basically a measure of wheat for a penny and 3 measures of barley for a penny. So that's basically not a lot of food. If you was to measure um our wheat and barley, because that's just you only getting a little bit of food for how much for just only a day's worth of wages. you know that's pretty much pathetic, and that's pretty much the time period we're coming into a time period where you're gonna have to work. um you know Everybody's gonna have to work so hard to make a living, and it's like we're already kind of approaching that time too, where hyperinflation is gonna hit, and there's gonna be a time where all the money that you spending um on is mostly gonna be food and bread and water. Basically, that's the most money you're gonna spend on food. Is gonna be so expensive. It's gonna be way more expensive than your Jordans, and than the pair of electronics that you buy. Shit, you know that's the only thing people gonna care about. you know because and that's this black horse kind of goes into famine as well. Not only Jacob's trouble is going into famine. If studying the etymology of these words, is going into the famine. And then a coinex is it says it's a dry measure containing 4 kotali or 2 setari. Mm, let me see. Oh, Slovakia. Wait, just trying to see something. So yeah, and with the wheat now, so you're just basically that's not gonna make a lot of bread. You just buying a measure of wheat. It ain't gonna make a lot of bread. And let me see about the barley now. Uh, okay, no problem. So let me see. Now let me show you how much the denarius may be worth from this time. So you see, I was searching up for Roman denarius for sale. It shows you like it's on the market for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And even show how much is a Roman denarius worth. Oh, nah, that's not true. Because money back then was pretty much worth like coins back then. It was actually a value. It actually had like a commodity value because it was gold and silver at the time. Money now ain't worth that. It's only backed up by paper, and that ain't backed up by anything. That has no intrinsic value. So when I made that video saying that how your money ain't gonna save you from the Most High's wrath, it's really not. Wait, that's not the website. Salakia, bear with me, please. So yeah, I'm looking at this article here, coinsauction.com. It says a decent denarius can be found from $20 to $200, and it can be even more expensive if it is a rare type. So yeah, these coins usually have its differences, if it's based depending on its rarity. So yeah, and it's in the year. So that's pretty much how it is. And let me see. Going back on the explanation of the of what you call it, of the, it says hurt not the oil and the wine. So now when you go into Matthew chapter 25, let me see, 25 verse 6, it says, let me see, how about I start at, okay, yeah, let me start at 6. And at midnight there was made a cry, and at midnight there was a cry made, behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, not so, lest there be enough for us and you, but go ye rather to them that sell, and buy it for yourselves. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, open up to us. But he answered, saying, verily, verily, I say unto you, watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour when the Son of Man cometh. For the kingdom of heaven is as the man travailing into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto him his goods. And that's pretty much talking about the truth, this truth is like the part where it's talking about the oil. This truth is like an oil for your lamp, basically. So yeah, and the bridegroom is Yahweh, and we're married to the bridegroom. you know so, and going into the third verse, so it says the fools that took their lamps with no oil in them. It's like when you don't have this truth, you feel me, you don't have the oil in you. And it says the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps, and so that's showing you that, from that little story, that's showing you that the wise is pretty much the people of, the men of GMS that have this 100% truth, that will that truth has oil within it, and that's what I'm getting at with this. And there's another scripture that was coming into mind, and in Isaiah 24:11, it says, there's a crying for wine in the streets, all joy is darkened, the mirth of all the land is gone, and the cities left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. So that wine in that scripture is talking about this truth as well. So you see how it all goes hand in hand with the Revelation 6 and 5 about the black horse. So yeah, the black horse kind of dives into pretty much two topics. It's diving into Jacob's trouble, and it's diving into basically keeping the truth reserved, but it's mostly reserved for the elect, only the 1/3. That's pretty much what the truth is reserved for. So yeah, that's pretty much what this truth is reserved for, man. And what you call it? There was another lesson in the that I want to point out. Let me see, Revelation 6 and 4 again. 6 and 5. So yeah, back to the part of the what you call it, about the hyperinflation now. So like, a measure of wheat for a penny and 3 measures of barley for a penny. So yeah, people are gonna be there's gonna be a time period where, going into second Esdras, that's gonna lead to the famine, basically. Which is kind of like, in the pale horse too, that's leading up to with the pale horse, but I'll do another separate lesson about the pale horse. It says, "Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth, and that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy." So yeah, so people might think, like, maybe if, people might think some goods might be cheap or whatever, but it's only going to be cheap for a certain time until the hyperinflation hits, and guess what? That's going to lead into taking that microchip. But let me see. I think it was if Second Ezra 6. This also ties up with this. Second Ezra 6:22. And suddenly saw the sown places appear sown, unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Ain't that what this is happening with the coronavirus? Stores are being empty. You got farmers destroying their crops and shit like that because of this coronavirus pandemic, which is all planned by the government. And look, and this is the part too. Because of the famines, guess what? It says in verse 24, that time shall friends fight one against another, like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. So yeah, so pretty much because of this well, people buying up a lot of necessities and all the stuff that they basically, their everyday needs. People buying, like, mad excessive packs of those, of toilet paper, paper towels, sanitizers, basically, daily necessities, and then stocking up on food and water. Like if somebody else ain't gonna go into your house and kill you and steal from that shit, even if you have a gun, somebody could still have a chance of killing you. But hey, that's what happens when you're carnal minded. You can't see things on a spiritual level. You can't have a spiritual, view of certain things because your eyes are not open. At least Esau, he understands some of the apocalypse of the scriptures. I could say, these Edomites, but these two-third Jakes, they don't understand. The scary thing about it is that they're not even on the level of Edomites where they could understand some of the apocalyptic stuff. They just don't understand shit at all. Most of these two-thirds, not some, most of them, because you're gonna have some of them that are doomsday preppers as well. But I'm just saying, like, you ain't gonna make it that far being a doomsday prepper because you gotta be a spiritual prepper. That's the only way you'll make it far. You know. So, but yeah, and that's the time period that we're coming into. We're coming into a time period where, we're gonna soon get into this hyperinflation because people are lining up for the stores just to buy certain things, and then next thing you know, it runs out. Now, many small stores are being closed. And you're already seeing certain things that you want to buy are not even available. You gotta go to a certain day and buy it. This country is receiving less imports on food and necessities that people need. Yeah, and it's all prophesized in the scriptures. Now you got farmers really destroying tens of millions of pounds of food and milk, and yeah, pork plants, other industry food plants are closing down and destroying their food because one few workers get the coronavirus, the whole plant gets closed down. So yeah, even though I'm glad the pork plants and the seafood plants are closing down because our people should not be eating that shit regardless. But um, and that's pretty much what the Revelation 6 and 4, like, it all, I mean 6 and 5, Salakia, it all ties into all that. So yeah, we really are coming into some tough times, man. And that's why it says in Isaiah 33:6, then wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and the strength of salvation. The fear of Adonai is his treasure. And that's true. You know, fearing Yahweh Bashim Yashai, he's the plug for basically, like, if you hungry, you have faith in him, he's the one that's gonna hook you up and put you on to, you know, to your safety and to your daily needs, as long as it's, as long as you need it to survive. Because you know what? If you do his works, you in this truth, you have faith to the best of your ability, and you increase that faith. Guess what? He not gonna let you go. He not gonna let you die. He gonna look at you and he gonna be like, since you stick to me when you got this truth, I'm gonna help you out. But if you that type of nigga that was in the world and you ain't care that much about the truth, and especially if you came in this truth and you left, you're gonna tell his left-handed side demons like, yo, take this nigga out. I don't fucking care about that nigga. And guess what? And that nigga, that demon's gonna have you to die in some form of a, the Most High will have you to die in some form of a plague or disease or, famine, any type of way. The Most High controls your death. So that's pretty much what that black horse is getting into, you know. So yeah, it kind of dives into a lot of topics. I know, I had to do a video based on this. That's why I'm kind of doing videos separate on this, because there's some scriptures and breaking down precepts. I don't want to do a video of explaining all four in one video, because I don't want to make it too long. I just want to make it straight and to the point, you know. Yeah. So hope I made that lesson edifying. I'd like to give all glory, praises, honor to Adonai Yahweh, Ba'ashem Shamalak Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Kakadash, double honor to the apostles and the elders, great millstone, peace and salutations to the hopeful light, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yashai, Shalak Rayam Arawam Yam, Wa Abad Babal, Shalom.